Hi there, AYP homies, and thank you for joining me here again. Today I wanted to talk to you about what's going on in my life recently. Had some kind of big life changes go on, and just kind of wanted to share them with you and share a story about the man who gave me this hat. So, big change. I quit my job. Been working for the same company for 7 years. As an automotive expert. I was working as a damage appraiser for an insurance company, and I just couldn't do it anymore. I was getting to the point where I was having panic attacks at work, maybe 2 times a week. Sometimes these panic attacks were lasting, half a day or a day, sometimes 2 days, and I was just really getting crushed by it. My soul was getting crushed by corporate greed, and I didn't feel like I was doing good anymore. And that's kind of why I started this channel, was because I've been feeling like I haven't been doing good lately, and I need that. I need to be doing good. That's part of who I am. It's part of why I had the job in the first place. I wanted to make sure that people got taken care of when they had, possibly the worst day of their lives, and it got to a point where that wasn't really what my job was anymore, and I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't take it. God willing, I'll be starting as a mail carrier soon. Just got a job offer there, so I'm just doing the final paperwork and background checks and fingerprinting and all that stuff. But they gave me a job offer a few days ago, so I've just been kind of going through the process, and hopefully I'm not speaking too soon, but yeah, that's what's been going on with me lately. So I'm finally starting to be in a better place, and I'm finally starting to feel better and breathe a little freer. I've been trying things out in my own time, and like starting the YouTube channel and starting another YouTube channel, and trying to start a small business on the side too, and I decided, carpe diem. I had the opportunity to apply for a job that I'd always wanted to have. I've always wanted to be a mailman. For probably 25 years, I've wanted to be a mailman. It's a goofy dream, but I'm kind of fascinated by the post office, and fascinated by the fact that for well under $1, I can send a letter from here to Alaska, and it'll get there in just a few days. It's just astounding to me, and I feel like it's a job where you really do good. People need their mail, and it's a service that's been around longer than this country. So, God willing, I'll be starting that soon, and hopefully all goes well. Anyway, I've been thinking about somebody from my life growing up lately, and kind of while all this has been going on around me, the thought of one guy has been kind of just coming in and out of my head. This guy called Harry the Hat Guy. Harry the Hat Guy is the man who made me this hat. Back where I'm from, Harry used to come into the fast food restaurant I used to work in when I was a kid, and every now and again he would pick out a person or a couple people and make them a hat. Usually it was a cowboy hat. Sometimes it was like a sombrero or something like that. But he'd make them a hat, and just glob on the hot glue and attach something to it. And I remember the day that he gave me this hat. He handed it to me, and he looked me in the face and said, "One day you're going to be a biker." He was right. A few years later, I got my first motorcycle, and I fell in love with riding a motorcycle. I don't know how he figured that out. I don't know how he knew, but he did. It's a goofy hat. It's not exactly something you can wear in any kind of reasonable way. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna wear it for the rest of the video. How's that? So, anyway, Harry the Hat Guy made these hats, and he did it because he wanted to put a little good out in the world. it was a little thing that he could do. He made the hats himself. He got them, um, from a kit that he bought at a hobby store, and he just kind of copied the pattern and made a whole bunch of hats. And it was just a thing that brightened up everybody's day, and he was known all over the place. When he died, actually, my grandmother wanted to let me know that Harry the Hat Guy passed away, and I said, "How do you know Harry the Hat Guy?" And she said, "Everybody knows Harry the Hat Guy." Apparently, he didn't only go to the fast food restaurant I worked at. He'd go to the donut shop, and he'd go to the bank and everywhere else, and drag his wife along the whole time. The whole back seats filled with hats that he intended to give to different people. But it was just the thing that he did to make the world a little brighter. Anyway, I wanted to share a story about Harry the Hat Guy. It was a story he told, God, probably once a week. He'd always tell the same stories over and over again, like old men do. But he told me the story about how he got drafted to go to Korea. And he was a conscientious objector. He always had been, and he always was, and until the end of his life, he was a conscientious objector. He didn't believe in violence in any way, shape, or form. So when he got drafted and didn't get deferred because of his conscientious objector status and didn't get put in a desk job, he went to basic, and every day he'd pick a daisy and he'd stick it in the barrel of his gun, and he would march around with that daisy in his gun until he'd get yelled at. And his commanding officer, whoever, I guess the drill sergeant would question him about why he had a flower in his gun, and he'd tell him that he only wanted to spread peace and not war. So he'd say, every day I got put on KP, and never ate so good in my whole life. I can still hear his voice in my head. KP is kitchen patrol, so he'd be peeling potatoes, and that's why he ate so good. Anyway, he'd tell that story every time I'd see him, just about, or one of another dozen stories, and he'd always have his wife there with him, and she'd be there holding his hand and kind of rolling her eyes because she knew just how nuts he was. But she loved him because he was genuine. And everybody loved him because he was so genuine. He made these hats because that's what good he could do. And he'd always say the same thing too. He said, "I'm ripping off the government. They're not getting any income tax off of me, because instead of charging you for them, I'm giving them away for free." And you'd be like, "Harry, it's not how income tax works. You're allowed to give people these goofy hats. It's fine." But it didn't matter. He was just a nice guy. Anyway, that's what I want to do. I want to be like Harry. I want to leave a mark on people in the best possible way. I want to do as much good as I possibly can. And I want to stick to my guns like Harry. And I want to be true to what I believe. I hope you do the same. Anyway, it's just a thought. May peace and blessings be on you and those you love. And please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, ringing the bell for notifications. Post videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, God willing. And if you have any negative feedback or want to tell me I'm doing a bad job, please do so. I'd be happy to hear it. Any feedback to me at this point is good. So again, thank you very much. I hope you have a great day. Good night.